r/Askreddit. Reddit. What's your anyways? We are married now story. When I was 13, I met a girl, Debbie, at summer camp. She talked about her horses and attending the big interstate fair every year with her 4-H group. On my 13th birthday I went to the fair and looked Debbie up. She agreed to go to the carnival with me, but wasn't all that interested. I can't blame her. 13-year-old me was a dweeb. She brought along her annoying girlfriend Reen to keep me from getting too fresh, which worked. I was determined to get Debbie alone. Not that I knew exactly why, so I took the girls on the tip-top ride. Reen got sick, got off the ride, and puked. Debbie and Reen used that as an excuse to split, and I never saw Debbie again. 3 years later, a beautiful new girl with long black hair moved out on my school bus line. I was immediately interested and began a much smoother conversation. We went out a couple weeks later and went to a carnival. She took me on the tip top and I puked. That girl was Reen. We were both 3 years older, and anyways, we are married now for 41 years. I had a cold and went on a date to an Irish pub. I was eating bangers and mash and had the urge to cough. I tried to keep my mouth shut, but just wound up spraying his face with gravy and mashed potatoes through my pursed lips. I was still coughing, so I took a sip of my drink to soothe my throat. It was beer. The bubbles tickled my throat more. I also spit that all over his face. He stared at me in disgusted horror as gravy, mashed potatoes and beer dripped down his face onto his shirt. I laughed and laughed and laughed, making my apologies sound very insincere. Anyways, we are married now. Thank goodness our booth had high backs so only he suffered. In 2nd grade, I was voted class favorite. Why was this ever a thing? Horrible idea for kids' self-esteem, along with a weird fella who I had trouble believing anyone even voted for, because he was quite reserved and bland. In the 5th grade I remember the same guy getting called to the front of the class to write his answer on the board. He was awkward and dressed accordingly. The girl seated behind me very quietly commented MMMM. His booty look like it'd be eaten his pants. Only I heard this, but it was a humorously accurate observation. After 5th grade I never saw him/heard from him again until we were 21. He showed up at my house to purchase a vehicle we had for sale after my dad passed exactly 1 month earlier. I only recognized him after my mom wrote his name on a receipt for purchasing the car. I reminded him of our time as class favorite and my mom made a show of breaking out the yearbooks. Anyways, we are happily married now. I swiped right on someone who was the exact opposite of my type. Short, big teeth, not ambitious, really skinny. He was leaving town the morning after our date. He was a good half hour late to the date, muttered softly, and was bad with eye contact. I only went on the date because I'd had really ducked up stuff happen to me and I just wanted one date with someone that wasn't going to lead to anything just to feel normal. Anyway, we just had our first kid. I was working at a video game shop and he was hired to DJ the midnight release of a game I didn't care for. He comes in, waits in the giant line of people finalizing their pre-order before midnight. When he gets to the register, I ask him if he's here for the premiere, but he says he wouldn't be caught dead playing that game and proceeds to purchase a different, older game I later find out he already has. He asks me when I finish my shift and to swing by the DJ table when I'm off. I do indeed swing by, and now we've been married going on 5 years with 2 cats and a recently purchased home. He proposed by sticking the ring inside the case of the game he bought that night. Edit. Holy cannoli, I did not expect this comment to be my most popular comment ever. The midnight premiere was for Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and the game he bought was Okami, the original for Wii. I should say that I don't dislike Call of Duty overall, I was just really into the older World War II ones. My neighbor invited me to a cookout, and he was like, by the way, my wife's cousin is here. She kinda wants you two to date, or whatever. And date we did. She's been by my side through my drug addiction as she stayed sober from alcohol. She called DCFS on me and had my daughter from a previous marriage, taken from my custody and into my second mom's care when I was very strung out. If it weren't for that slap in the face by reality, I wouldn't have ever gotten sober. She not only saved me, but my daughter and I's relationship as well. I got clean, my daughter back, and now I'm in school to be a social worker. I'm doing much better now, and she and I got married on July 4th last year. We celebrated the birth of our second daughter, my second, her first, even though she's a wonderful stepmom to my oldest daughter, on July 3rd this year, and our first wedding anniversary was about a month ago. I love that woman so damn much. And both my girls. 8 years ago, when I was desperately trying to make it as an actor, I answered an audition call for an unpaid role in a sitcom pilot that two friends had written together. It was in a basement flat in London. My mum warned me to be so careful. The door was opened by a charming guy with a crooked smile, and a video camera was set up facing the sofa. But the audition went well. Not only did he not murder me, they offered me the role there and then, and we all went to the pub to celebrate and get to know each other. In our first conversation, Crooked Smile Guy and I joked about wanting to naming our respective future kids after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Raphael is 12 weeks old today. He has his dad's smile. In college, this girl fell on me. I was sitting beneath her bed watching a movie in her dorm room by ourselves as a bro night. I thought she was super cute, but I didn't really think I had much of a shot with her. We had also just become friends not too recently before that, and I didn't want to ruin this nice connection we had been developing. In any case, she kinda jumped on top of me. I had been a wrestler in high school, and she had mentioned before how she wanted to pin me. She definitely didn't pin me though. Even being out of practice in college, I still gently kicked her ass. Later on, that girl said she really missed a cuddle partner and wanted to spend the night in my arms, which I assumed to be non-romantic cuddling. I declined, worried that I'd made it awkward somehow. It took me a bit to put those pieces together. In any case, we're soon to be married now. Edit. For anyone wondering how I finally figured it out, she literally had to tell me. After I told her I wasn't sure if be a great platonic cuddle buddy, she explicitly told me that she was looking for more. I had figured she might, but I didn't want to be guess wrong and potentially mess up our friendship. We've been together ever since. Years ago, in the early days of the net, I met this girl on Yahoo Personals. She's trying her best to get out of a bad life and casually mentions that she used to be a dancer in various clubs around the area. On our second date, she's over at my house. I had this 5-year-old picture of my 21st birthday at a local strip club. She saw it and pointed out that she was front and center in the photo. Happy ending time. She did get out of her bad life, at least. I hope she feels that way. We have been together for 16 years and married almost 12. She completed her JED, then went to nursing school, and has been working a pretty decent job for the last 10+ years. She has also made other amazing personal strides that I cannot share, but let's just say she's turned into an amazing person and someone I'm proud to call my wife. A friend of mine was secretly playing Pokemon at high school when he found a pickmaker with the same name as me. He found that funny, so he whispered it to another mutual friend who was sitting next to him. Then the guy on the other side said, "What's so funny?" And they said, "Look, it's a character named for the Fuzzy Bunny one." And he said, "Who?" So later in the week during a lunch period, they introduced him to me. Anyway, we are married now. He also insists I include the line, "A friend of ours set a table on fire at the wedding." But anyway, we are married now because he thinks that's funnier. My friend met her boyfriend on Tinder and they invited me to a party. The boyfriend's roommate was there and was drunker than everyone else and talked annoyingly loud, so I thought he was a tool. Turns out the drinks were really just hard alcohol with a splash of juice, so not difficult to get trashed. The roommate also seemed to be flirting with another mutual friend. No sparks whatsoever. A month later, my friend, her boyfriend, and boyfriend's roommate go hiking, and we actually hit it off. Roommate and I hung out a couple times over the next week, hooked up a week after the hike thanks to 6+ shots of Patron each, and went on an out-of-state trip together 2 weeks after that. Our wedding website had a much simpler version of how we met. Anyways, we got married on 3/14 of this year, the weekend the US started shutting down. So we've been quarantining during our entire marriage.